dealing with heat, dealing with deliveries. This is an all cherry load, and we're going to be stacking it inside this smokehouse right here. And we're going to be putting in 2 rows. It's a little, we can go up to this yellow line and they can still shut the door. There's a dip in the floor, so I put a piece behind it just to keep them level. So we're going to put 1 row here, 1 row here. This is an all cherry load. It looks awesome, and it is. If I were a barbecue restaurant or a backyard smoker, I would want to buy wood off of me. This wood has been stacked. It is super dry. It's all cherry. You know, you think about species specific. So the state of Ohio, it's right in the rules that you are permitted to have a 90% accuracy if you are advertising a species specific sale. 90%. I don't know. I just think it better be 100% right. For what people are paying and for the level of professionalism that we're bringing to the table here, it's 100% right. So I guess it is possible that an occasional stick of maple, you know, gets in with the hickory or gets in with the cherry. This stuff, especially when cherry season's out, it's much easier to see. But I guess it's possible. The bottom line is, though, it wouldn't be like any pine because we don't get any. I buy my logs, and I know every darn log that comes off that truck. I've never once had, well, I did have 1 stick of pine, but that was immediately taken to my woodshed. But they don't have to worry about that. This one restaurant, if I were to ever get a stick of pine mixed up into their restaurant wood, they would kick me to the curb in 2 seconds because they'd have to throw away hundreds of dollars of protein on their grill. That's how serious they are about it. And I take species serious. And when I say it's all cherry, it is all cherry, man. But such are the standards that we hold ourselves to in the firewood industry, you know? We take care of the customers. We get the wood here when they're expecting it. There's no mystery time. And you know what? The other thing, I keep my finger on the pulse because I'm up and down these roads, and I will stop in and just take a peek at their woodshed and see how much they have. And I'll let them know if they're running low and we gotta bring in some more, and I'll just get it put on the schedule. Okay, so our plan today, we're going to knock out this load, get this, and then we're going to go back to the wood yard for another, loading it and going back to another restaurant and making some wood sheds full here on a very hot Northeast Ohio morning. Sun's really low in the sky and you're feeling the heat already. All right, guys, here we go. When I am stacking, the first thing I do is I pull the wood away from the edges, because the wood has to clear the wheel well and in this part of the truck for it to roll out on this. So we just load it and stack it like this right off the tailgate. So now I'm going to come to this side and start pulling everything away from here, which will then allow me to just pull the rest of this out. And we get this truck unloaded in no time. Okay, so that's how I do it. I get it pulled away from the edges, and then I'll get my crank out. We'll crank this back to the tailgate. It unloads really quick. And this is how we make our money. We are not dump and go. We do the extra things. All of this hand loading, it gives confidence to the customer that they're getting what they pay for. It gives us another chance to clean it. All the mess stays behind. And you see the benefits too of using half-ton trucks. Two-wheel drive. This is easy for me to reach over the edges and pull all that out. When we work with two people, we got one up in the bed, one down on the gate, and it just goes fast. The half-ton truck's a lot cheaper to operate too. All the parts that you need to keep it running are much cheaper. Windshield wipers are getting kind of pricey though. And the fuel mileage, I'm over 20 miles to the gallon empty with this, and it's on the road all the time. Multiple deliveries even through the summer, and that's one of the benefits with restaurants. They're a 12-month operation. You can see their consumption, and you'll just know when they'll be calling you, and you can just get ready for it. When I got started with firewood, I had this idea of like high-end residential bundle delivery, you know, like a subscription thing. But my first call was a restaurant, and on my very first delivery to that restaurant, I picked up my second. I had 13 by the end of my first year, and right now I have 23 restaurants on my roster that I service. They all have their own consumption level. Some are very high, some are very low, but they're still my responsibility, and I take good care of them. And this is the mess I'm talking about. I just keep this up in the truck. I'll dump it out my place, or sometimes the customer wants it because what the heck, they paid for it. One of my first compliments that I got with my style of firewood, the gentleman called me back after a delivery and he says, "Joe, what the heck? I had nothing even to sweep up after you left." He said, "This is the nicest, cleanest load of firewood I've ever had." Now, I stacked it off the tailgate onto his driveway. It wasn't at his final resting. But when I pulled it off the tailgate, all the mess stayed behind, which, you know, the mess also got left back at the wood yard when we hand loaded the truck. Just doing this cleans the wood. And then when you stack it, you know, like in this case here, this is where it's going to stay. But at that gentleman, my first customer, residential, he was just shocked that he said, you know, he's used to having a bunch of mud and mulch on his driveway. It stains it. He has to sweep it up when he's done. So I knew I was onto something. And I knew that that is something, a value that customers will pay for. And that was validation that my style of firewood sales is actually going to work. And true to the way business is in firewood, he told a friend who told a friend who told a friend. So this is year 7 for me, and my advertising budget has been 0. I just don't advertise. Restaurants, what I'd learned is that they all talk, the ones that use firewood. And when they found out that there was a reliable service in town, my phone started ringing. So by the end of the first year, after that first restaurant, I had 13 that I was responsible for, and I was off to the races. Okay, restaurant owner Jeremy, let's talk about firewood right now. What's the deal with you trying to run a business and dealing with a firewood delivery service?
So the biggest problems that we run into with firewood is consistency on showing up and just getting us the best wood possible.
You mean showing up as in they said they would be there and they never came?
Yeah. That's happened a couple times to us before in the past, a long time ago. But then now that you've been coming, it's been not an issue. It's been perfect.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
You were telling me a story where you went to pick it up at the guy's place. What happened on that case?
Came to pick it up. We were in desperate need of wood. Everything was basically rotted. It was like picking up disintegrated mulch. But we had to. It was at that point where we needed wood real bad, and that's when I started getting serious. Started looking around for someone to really help us out, and you know, I can't thank you enough for bringing stuff to us.
Yeah, and I know it can't be easy to run a restaurant. You're juggling a bunch of balls all at the same time, and then you forget to order the firewood.
Yep.
And then you can't find your firewood guy.
Yep.
But not when you're dealing with me.
Correct. And the communication is awesome too. That helps out so much to know when you're coming, that it just makes things 1,000 times easier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, Jeremy, you're on task. I'm in your way, and I'm also sweating like a pig, and I will head on down the road. We got to go to another restaurant now.
Oh, good.
All right. Well, it's great talking to you again, bud.
Same. Thank you.
Bye.
That's good. You stacked it sweet.
Okay, job done here. Let's hit the road. We're going to load up and go on another delivery. I am interrupting our delivery for lunchtime. I love this place's sub sandwiches. I've never had a bad sandwich from here. And it's just a way for me to not only get firewood delivered, but to celebrate my birthday. I am officially 24 years old today. It's been a long time. So why not give myself a treat, come in here and cool off a little bit, and then we're gonna go back, get the truck loaded, and then we'll get this other delivery done, and it's gonna be done in the heat. It's gonna be in a parking lot, and there's no shade and nowhere to hide. And I am back. We are going to get this truck loaded. The wheelbarrow is all of the mess that you saw that was left from the cherry delivery. Gets dumped, and the truck's going to get loaded, and we are going to turn and burn. That's trucker talk, you know. So something happened on my way home. After I got my sub sandwich, I started up my truck and it stalled in the parking lot before I pulled out. It's never done that. Yeah. So that's in the back of my mind. What makes that problem so bigger for me right now is my other truck is in the shop. The transmission lines, well, it's a long story on these Ford F-150s and their transmission lines, and fortunately I caught mine before something bad would have happened. But it's in the shop and it's offline right now, and it's just the way it goes. I'm getting over here in the shade. It's just the way it goes. Whenever you have one truck down, you know darn well the other one's going to follow along shortly. And that's why I bought that second truck, because when I think of the things that keep me up at night, it was those trucks. Having just all of your apples in one basket, you know. If the truck breaks down, I'm sunk and I can't take care of my customers. Having that second truck really helped a lot, but trucks still break down. You know, I could have done that transmission line repair myself, but you have to get the truck way up in the air, and it seems like the older I get, the more uncomfortable I am laying underneath vehicles like that. Yes, you could take safety precautions, but it's just creepy anymore. So I went ahead and paid someone to do it for me, but you know, it's just got to get done still. So that's how we do it. It is a hot summer day, multiple deliveries, but it sure helps having a helper here to get the truck loaded. That is a huge load off of me. I pay him well for that. He's happy, I'm happy, and I'm able to get on down the road to the next delivery. That next delivery would be very similar to this one. There's a little bit more walking in it, but it's similar, but it's pretty much what you saw just a few minutes ago at the other location. That unloading device, the crank, best money I've ever spent. It makes things so much easier. I'd always felt one of the most dangerous things I do was jump in and out of the back of that truck, especially like someone like me, you know. You get into your 50s and you're just one leap away from a twisted ankle or a strained knee, and it really slows you down. My other challenge is my helper starts school. So he's going to be offline here too. But he is available after school. He does a real good job. Maybe I'll introduce him to you guys one day. All right, got to get back to work. Got another delivery to make. Have a great day.